Welcome to the Shreveport Connection with Tommy. This video is on your Monday Night Raw and Superstar spoilers. And today, being Monday, would have been the 58th birthday of WWE Hall of Famer Curt Henning. As seen on Raw, Henning's was announced birthday by Curtis Axel, who is his son, Joe Henning. Well, also on Twitter, Henning Estate has launched a Twitter where they will honor, protect, and remember his legacy. A new video premiered this week on the edition of NXT TV on the WWE Network that airs this coming Wednesday night. Clips simply shouted, "No way, Jose," with flashing lights and text. I think it was last week's. Catch that link. Reportedly, NXT talent Levi Valenzuela, aka Manny Garcia, who has been appearing at NXT live events for quite a while now. Valenzuela is a former collegiate ballroom dancer who has also studied pre-law. He is not scheduled to make his NXT debut until after NXT TakeOver in Dallas. Special this coming Friday night from WrestleMania 32 weekend. Jacksonville.com recently spoke to former WWE diva Kelly, aka Barbie Blank, as Blank discussed her recent marriage to NHL player Shelton Surrey, who she wed last month. Here are some highlights of her discussing her marriage. Comments on what Surrey proposed to her. He started saying all these emotional things like, "You are my soulmate." Then he played our favorite song, "Tim McGraw's my best friend." He got on one knee and proposed. Shelton planned it just right, so that suddenly friends and family showed up on another boat with balloons and champagne. Barbie on visiting her friends and family in Jacksonville while performing for WWE. "Jacksonville was my favorite city to go to. My friends and family back home are my #1 fans. I have never forgotten where I came from." End of her interview. The current plan for WWE's Global Curt Heavyweight Series tournament is to take the entire tournament the week of June 20th at Full Sail University. Not the qualifying matches. They will tape for 5 days. The original WWE announced that the Global Cruiserweight Series will debut on the WWE Network on July 13th. The series will run for 10 episodes and will feature 32 205-pound competitors. The same article also confirmed that Evolve Wrestling, Progress Wrestling, and Revolution Pro Wrestling will all host bouts in the coming weeks to help determine some of the competitors. I know Progress Wrestling is in England. Evolve is up north, northern part of the United States. Revolution, where I think they do travel some. Possible spoiler, but doesn't say he's champ as it's advertised as Roman Reigns versus Bray Wyatt. Main event for a live event show in Glasgow, Scotland on April 23rd. Also announced with Sheamus and Rusev versus The New Day and appearances by King Barrett. Unknown if he's still going to be employed by WWE by then. As well as Sin Cara, the Dudleys, Kane, Usos, Becky Lynch, Stardust, Cesaro, Tyler Breeze, Darren Young, and Social Outcasts, as well as Sasha Banks. Former WWE Tough Enough contestant and WWE Breaking Ground star Zamaria ZZ Lupe made his official NXT in-ring debut, and I'll show you some photos back here, whichever side I can get it on. Probably one on both sides. At the live event that was in Orlando, Florida on Saturday evening. ZZ worked a singles match, which he won against Christopher Giggard during the event. He'll be the bald head guy in the photo. Fans might be more familiar with Giggard by his former gimmick name, Biff Busick. Also from one of the company that I just previously mentioned. The match was had to be kept relatively short and didn't feature any real noteworthy offense or spots from ZZ for his in-ring debut. In fact, there was had to be a lot of rest holds used throughout the match. And the event came from March 26th. Former WWE Tough Enough contestant and break... I already said that. Former WWE manager Slick will be handling the induction of the WWE legend Big Boss Man at this year's Hall of Fame induction on Saturday night, April 2nd, 2016 in Dallas, Texas. Slick managed Big Boss Man when he originally came into WWE in 1988. Back then, he was also going as Big Bubba Rogers. Hollywood Entertainment Production Company has just released a new MMA documentary titled The Fight Game, featuring such legendary names as former WWE superstar and UFC Hall of Famer Ken Shamrock, UFC Hall of Famers Royce Gracie and Tito Ortiz, MMA legend Randy Couture, and more. Many topics are included in the documentaries, such as old rivalries and enemies, pro wrestling and WWE controversy, and more, and much more. You can watch The Fight Game for free right now via Hollywood Entertainment YouTube channel at youtube.com. Hollywood Entertainment also released a new trailer for the marijuana documentary featuring RVD, Willie Nelson, and Jack here, which is titled The Emperor. I'll show you the link during this. The President and the King. You can watch the new trailer, which features RVD, by clicking that link. The new Jack, Hardcore, and The Shooting Range documentaries will be uploaded in HD quality to the Hollywood Entertainment YouTube this coming week. Further updates and more videos you can subscribe to the Hollywood Entertainment YouTube page at youtube.com/slowdive626. Just go to the link. For more info and media or interview requests, email hollywoodla@aol.com. We'll post that email address as well. New wrestling family? Go to this link. I've commented on this before, previous episodes. John Laurenitus recently married Kathy Collis, the mother of Brie Bella and Nikki Bella. Two got engaged last fall. Well, Collis posted a lot of pictures to her Instagram account, instagram.com, Kathy Collis. Let's go to the link. On behalf of everyone here on the website, congrats to the happy couple. On this past Saturday, it was announced that TNA has pulled Ethan Carter III from his scheduled appearance for Preston City Wrestling during WrestleMania weekend on April 3rd. During the Hall of Fame ceremony, PCW owner Steve Flutter wasn't very happy about it, and he took to the official website of the wrestling promotion to issue a statement regarding TNA pulling him from the event. Flutter issued the following statement on PrestonCityWrestling.com. It saddens me to announce that TNA has issued the withdrawal of EC3, Ethan Carter, from our April 3rd PCW show. The other international talent booked, being Ken Anderson, Jade, Eddie Kingston, Cedric Alexander, are still confirmed to appear. But being that Ken Anderson is no longer with TNA, I don't think TNA cares anymore. As for Jade, current TNA champion, but not yet, due to the spoiler on TV. WrestleMania weekend is the hardest time of the year to secure a replacement talent, but I have worked to secure somebody, and subject to him finding his passport, we may have another guest from the USA. I did reach out to TNA management, but was told, unfortunately, nothing can be done. This is a network commitment and something he has no control over. considering TNA was publicly vocal about not being happy with AJ Styles pulled out of an agreed deal with him. It does seem double standard to me that the company would ask the talent to back out of a deal that was had been in place for many weeks. I have lost out financially, having paid for an extensive promotional campaign with EC3, clearly front and center promoting his appearance, but most of all I feel for the fans who have used their hard-earned money and booked travel to see and meet EC3. We have gone above and beyond to try to source a replacement in tough times for those fans, but it is a shame that when asked for assistance, TNA told us nothing can be done. I will in future be thinking twice about using TNA talent to avoid repeat scenarios, as even WWE respect that when a date is agreed and it is agreed on and signed, and do not try to pull talent from it. I try to give my fans more than the value for money and will continue to do so, even though I do take full responsibility for the change in lineup. You know, I will always be honest with you all. The show is still will be amazing, and tickets are available at PrestonCityWrestling.com. Former women's champion Jacqueline Moore has chosen the Dudleys, Bubba Ray and Devon, to induct her into the Hall of Fame this coming Saturday. As Bubba commented, "It's an honor," Bubba told WWE. They gave her the choice of anybody she wanted to induct her, and she immediately said the Dudleys. Me and Devon always had a really great relationship with Jacqueline. We have a ton of respect for her abilities and toughness in the ring. Devon Dudley told the WWE website, "Jacqueline and I were like brother and sister. We rode together and even roomed together sometimes. We took care of each other whenever we needed someone to talk to. We were there for each other. We were family." WWE will induct the class of inductees into the Hall of Fame during this year's ceremony on April 2nd, Saturday night. AJ Styles recently spoke with 97.9, also 105.5 KISS FM's KISS crew about working with Chris Jericho early in his WWE run. Also about knocking the Miz's teeth out and more. And here are some of the highlights in the interview. On Chris Jericho being the perfect opponent for his WWE debut. I mean, listen, Chris Jericho is a future legend. There's no doubt about that. He's going to be a WWE Hall of Famer. There's no doubt about that. He really went the same path that I have with Japan. He wrestled in the United States and went to Japan. I mean, him and I are very similar, and the fact that I got the opportunity to be in the ring with him as soon as I started in the WWE, I mean, you couldn't ask for any better opponent. On knocking out the Miz's tooth early in his WWE run and his thoughts on the Miz in general, you would have thought that, but I think I got applauded actually for knocking out the Miz's tooth. Let me tell you something. Miz is one of the toughest cats I've ever been in the ring. He may not come across that way, but he is. He's one tough dude, and you've got to respect the guy for hanging in there after getting his tooth knocked out. And then he goes on and comments about how he got the phenomenal name. As he spoke with Big Papa and Banner regarding a number of topics, including how he first got the phenomenal name and his transition into WWE, and what has gone this far and passing up NXT. Well, how he got the phenomenal name, I wish I could tell you. It was a girl that gave it to me, that was giving me that name, but no, it wasn't. I think I want to say around 2000, maybe 2001, I was wrestling where I started in Cornelia, Georgia, at a place called Wildside. And one of the commentators just started calling me phenomenal AJ Styles, and it stuck. On how his transition to WWE has gone so far, it's been very easy, honestly. Everybody is great. The only transition I was expecting for everyone to be so professional, that's sad to say. but I've been to places where it's not exactly that. So to come to a place that is so refreshing and so easy, it's great. The styles continued. I mean, you would think I've been wrestling with these guys for years, but it's just a great bunch of guys. A little jealous of the guys, though, because some of the guys were in NXT together before that. But then they all team up together and just a strong relationship. But they're just great guys to be around and girls. WB head coach Matt Bloom revealed on Monday that Carl Anderson is at the Performance Center in Orlando, Florida. I'll show you a picture or a few. WWE made the following matches official for WrestleMania 32 during Monday's Raw. Chris Jericho versus AJ Styles. Brie Bella, Natalya, Alicia Fox, Paige, and Eva Marie. Yes, Eva Marie. And she joined during Raw as the surprise competitor for their 5-on-5 match. Versus Naomi, Tamina, Summer Rae, Lana, and Emma. In a 10 Diva tag match. Yeah, really. They casted Eva as a babyface, presumably because she's on Total Divas along with the rest of her teammates. The Brooklyn Cloud booed as if she were Roman Reigns when she made her surprise appearance on Raw. According to Dave Meltzer, WWE had contact with both Carl Anderson and other Bullet Club members. WWE had said to be more interested. Oh, okay. You're right. Eric Young and Bobby Roode recently. WWE said to be more interested in Young as they feel that he can play any character that they need him to play. But Young and Roode will remain on TNA TV for a couple more weeks as the promotion has already taped future episodes of Impact. Johnny Crow attended Raw in Brooklyn, New York, and sent the following report on the spoilers for Superstars. So, also, in the SmackDown video, he also did the main event spoilers. Apparently, they did some of the tapings on Monday night for SmackDown as well. Because the advertised was there was a reminder on one of their dirt sheet that there was no tapings for Tuesday night. Well, I didn't get any results until Tuesday night for SmackDown. Superstar spoilers. Jack Swagger defeated Tyler Breeze in an okay match. That's a special, surprisingly big pop for Swagger. The final Raw before WrestleMania. Here's what happened. It's hard to believe that we're less than a week away from the big show. Partially because time is horrifying and they're losing talent left and right. And the build-up this year has been sort of all over the place. We get really great show one week, then the next, like a random Raw between two pay-per-views. Like last week, in full disclosure, I had no idea I was even watching writing main event until the show's signature popped up on the bottom of the screen. I mean, Dean Ambrose versus Bray Wyatt in the main event of Raw is great, but it was a throwaway match with a guy whose opponent only shows up when he wants to, and another guy doesn't even have a match at WrestleMania. Odd booking for sure, but this is a New Day, not the tag team. We're so close to the big show that surely tonight's Raw will leave us incredibly excited for Sunday night. After all, Brock Lesnar, Undertaker, Chris Jericho, and Vince and Shane McMahon all have been advertised for the show, meaning we should get some real head-to-head, last-minute drama. Oh, and how could we forget? A certain someone is backstage at Raw tonight, being John Cena, and Nikki Bella was there, but neither one of them was used for Raw. A certain someone who was 15-time champion. Yeah, that's right. I already said it. John Cena. Teasing he was going to be on the show, but wasn't used. Anyway, high expectations for tonight's show. Sure, most of you do. Let's hope it's a good one. Enjoy the show. And that was your preview for the show. Monday night from Brooklyn, New York. Opened up with Michael Cole Then the bowl tolls. Undertaker makes his way to the ring. A huge pop for the crowd. Undertaker will face Shane McMahon in a Hell in a Cell match this Sunday at WrestleMania. Should Undertaker lose, he will be forced to retire, and Shane will get control of Monday Night Raw. Didn't say he was retired, but it would be his last match at WrestleMania. The stakes are very high. Nothing more than that. Deadman starts off saying, "This WrestleMania will not be my last." The fans chant yes. Undertaker says that Shane's blood is on Vince's hand, but Vince's blood could be on his. He says he knows Shane will fight to his dying breath, but WrestleMania is his show, and Hell in a Cell is his house. At WrestleMania, Shane will rest in peace. Speaking of whom, Shane O'Mac hits the ramp with his famous Shane O Shuffle. Shane stays on the stage for a moment. Undertaker loses his coat. Shane says he and Undertaker will rip each other apart on Sunday, but the difference is that he's fighting to win, whereas Undertaker is fighting not to lose. He says Undertaker is Vince's instrument of destruction, but he is the instrument of change in WWE. Shane says he will destroy Undertaker's legacy if he cements his. Undertaker then tells him to watch his mouth, rich boy, that he can't talk about his legacy. Shane makes his way to the ring, face to face, and then says Undertaker's legacy already died 2 years ago at the hands of Brock Lesnar. Undertaker says Shane is just like Vince, and that since the day when he was born, he has been Vince's bitch. And then Shane drops the mic and starts striking Undertaker. Deadman grabs Shane, tosses him over the top rope onto the outside. Undertaker launches Shane into the barricade more than once. Then Undertaker clears the announce table and drags Shane over it. Undertaker lifts Shane up for the last ride, but Shane escapes down over the back and kicks Undertaker, then grabs a monitor from under the ring and whacks Undertaker with the head with it as he's on the announcer table. Yes, they had two announcer tables. One was about 2 feet in front of the other. You know what's going to happen. Well, Undertaker is laid out on the announce table. Shane hits him with a monitor again. Re-enters the ring, climbs up to the top turnbuckle, leaps off, giant elbow drop that does not actually hit him with the elbow, hits him with a wrist. Fans go nuts anyways and chant, "You still got it." Both Shane and Undertaker are both laid out. Undertaker has a bad cut over his eye from the monitor shot. Replays are shown of Shane's leap of faith through the announcer table. Shane was leaping up the ramp, and the Undertaker sits up. He gets to his feet and uses his thumb. Now that's how you open a Monday Night Raw. But Shane's getting old. He can't fly as much as he did. He only missed it by that much from the elbow. About from the hand to the elbow. After they come back from a commercial, replays are shown of what happened with Undertaker and Shane. Zack Ryder already in the ring, ready for a match. This match is against Chris Jericho. Before the match even begins, AJ Styles makes his way to the ring, starts talking. AJ asks Jericho why he isn't willing to give him a match at WrestleMania. Styles says he isn't leaving until he gets the match he wants. So he stands at ringside and watches. Bell rings and Ryder rolls Jericho up for a near fall. Jericho clears Ryder from the ring. He hits him with a baseball slide. Jericho taunts AJ back in the ring. Jericho chops Ryder and then a clothesline. Ryder lands a drop kick for the top rope, then a forearm in the corner. Jericho slumps down and AJ goes for the broski boot, but Jericho catches him in the walls of Jericho. AJ Styles begins chanting Y2 jackass on the mic, and the crowd joins in. Jericho lets Ryder go and shouts at AJ. Leaning over the rope, Ryder rolls him up for the win. Well, took him the first time it didn't work, but the second time it did. Actually, Jericho then immediately hit Ryder with a crow breaker and then starts punching him down. until AJ runs in and makes the save. Jericho leaves the ring and starts throwing things at ringside. Pissed off, Jericho grabs a chair and beats it off the ring post and more, over and over. Then shoves the cameraman. Fans chant, "Why, you jackass," more as Jericho tells him to shut up. He then tells AJ that he is a jackass and a fool for starting this. Jericho says he can have his match, but that this is his 12th WrestleMania and AJ's first. And this will be AJ's last. Jericho calls him a rookie and asks him if he understands what he's saying as we go to commercial. Back for a commercial, Sasha Banks is on commentary. Becky Lynch makes her way to the ring, and we're showing highlights from SmackDown in which Becky laid out Charlotte and Sasha. So we get Becky Lynch versus Charlotte. Divas champion shoves Becky to start the match. Then the last kicker retaliates. Charlotte attempts a clothesline, but Becky ducks and catches her in an arm lock. Becky then throws Charlotte into the corner, but Charlotte flips over the top rope and lands on her feet. Becky runs at her on the apron, but Charlotte hits her with a forearm, then taunts as we go to commercial. Charlotte has Becky in a headlock as we return. Becky begins to fight out, and she throws Charlotte off. Hits her with a series of clotheslines, then a kick. Becky hits Charlotte with a forearm in the corner, then lands a Bexplex. Becky goes for the disarmer, but Charlotte reverses it into a roll-up for a 2 count. Charlotte chops Becky and goes for another pin. Becky launches Charlotte over the top rope, and Sasha approaches. Becky chases Charlotte around the ring as Becky tries to slide back in the ring. Rick grabs her by the leg. Becky breaks free and gets to the feet, but Charlotte hits her with a big boot. Natural selection for the win. I don't know when they started calling it the natural selection, but I did hear it last week. It was more like a setup for the figure 8. Renee is backstage with Vince McMahon. She asks if Vince is surprised by the physicality between Shane and Undertaker earlier tonight. Vince says no, that was just an inkling of what you could see at WrestleMania. Vince says that the Undertaker doesn't understand is that Shane doesn't just want Raw. He will stop at nothing to get his hands on the entire WWE Universe. But all Shane did tonight was anger Undertaker, and angry Undertaker is bad news for Shane. Shane appears and says he's watched Vince discard people like human waste for years. He says Vince thinks he is omnipotent, that no one can run WWE but him. However, at WrestleMania, he's going to take 40 years of anger and frustration and win, taking control of what Vince took from his father. Now, he said he stole it from his father. After the break, we're showing highlights from Shawn Michaels versus Ric Flair at WrestleMania 2008. Back inside the ring, Social Outcasts are about to speak. A couple of them say their things that they normally have been saying every week. And we get Big Show's music hit. And we also get Kane's music hit. His pyro hitting. So we got Kane and the Big Show versus Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas. Kane and Axel begin to match up. And Kane shows them down. Kane throws Axel into the corner and goes for a splash, but Axel moves out of the way. Kane grabs him for a chokeslam, but the Social Outcasts run in for the disqualification. And they beat down Kane. As Kane and Big Show are brawling in the ring, then a large portion of the roster runs down, which sets up a huge ball in the ring. And most of all these guys are in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Okay, then we can look back at last week's parking garage ball with Roman Reigns and Triple H. Who will be here next? Back to commercial. Back for the break, out comes Stephanie McMahon with the World Heavyweight Champion Triple H. Stephanie rants about how fans should praise and respect her husband. Triple H says in 6 days the world will still watch WrestleMania 32 for one reason. The WWE World Heavyweight title. He puts over the WWE title and says it's the dream of everyone, even the fans at home. He says that will never happen to the fans at home because they don't have the ability to make it happen. He says Roman Reigns did. Triple H gives props to Reigns for being good enough to become champion. As the fans boo, Triple H mocks his 5-minute title reign. He says he will walk the aisle at WrestleMania for the 20th time on Sunday. And for the 9th time, he will compete for a World Heavyweight Championship on that stage. Triple H says he always has been obsessed with being WWE Champion, with fame, power, and money that came with it. He said that obsession led him to become the most successful WWE superstar in history. And also, the obsession led him to becoming a 14-time world champion, to becoming the greatest WWE superstar in history. And then he says he had a stranglehold on the business and title for 20 years. He thought his obsession would go away and that was okay to put it on a suit and go to the office every day. He says for 4 months ago when Reigns powerbombed him on the announce table, that lit the fire of his obsession once again. And he goes on and says Reigns has already lost on Sunday. Stephanie says Sunday isn't about unicorn horns, ladder matches, or street fights. Sunday is all about the World Heavyweight title and her husband. She's interrupted by the music of Roman Reigns. He makes his way out, marches down the ramp, and charges in. Triple H starts stomping on him. Reigns gets to his feet, takes control as fans boo. Triple H retreats from the ring and backs up the ramp. Stephanie joins with him. Reigns looks on from the ring as the fans continue to boo. The Authority heads to the back as Reigns' music hits and more boos from the crowd. Back to commercial. Back from the break, the end of the Authority is walking backstage. Triple H looks nervous. Nothing more than that. Kofi Kingston versus Alberto Del Rio was up next. Okay, we go to the ring. Out comes the tag team champions, New Day, making their way out. Xavier Woods takes the mic and says the crowd starts getting hyped. A Bootio's chant starts after Xavier says it's the new official cereal of WrestleMania, by the way. He lies because it's not a box of cereal. It's a t-shirt in the box. They start ripping on the League of Nations. Big E pays tribute to the late rapper Fifi Dog. I don't know how to pronounce it. I've never heard of him. Who passed away a few days back. They get a chant going on until the music interrupts, and out comes Alberto Del Rio with Rusev, King Barrett, and Sheamus. Two teams have words before the match. Bell rings and Del Rio goes right to work. Kobe sidesteps Del Rio and lands on the floor. Woods distracts him with Francesca too, allowing Kobe to take control. Kobe brings Del Rio back in and goes up top, but Del Rio cut him off. Del Rio slams Kobe to the mat, and Kobe goes to the floor to sell an injury as we go to commercial. Back from the break, Del Rio is in control after dominating through the break. Del Rio with a big knee to the back. More back and forth action. Del Rio goes for the stomp in the corner, but Kobe avoids it and pulls himself up. Kobe with a big shot off the top, and then a drop kick. And then Kobe nails SOS for a close 2 count. Del Rio with a backstabber to turn it back around on the offense. Kobe ends up with another close 2 count. Both teams look on. More back and forth action. Del Rio with a stomp in the corner. Big E and Woods distract Del Rio. He readies for the cross arm breaker on Kobe, but it's blocked. And Kobe rolls him up for the win. After the match, League of Nations hits the ring, but New Day retreats up the ramp. Jonathan Coachman makes his way out to a pop. Coach says that the New Day have been his favorite ESPN guest. He announces ESPN Super Center will be live in Dallas with updates on WrestleMania 32 on Sunday. Coach brings out some Bootio cereal and celebrates with the champions. If there was actually cereal in it, why don't they open the box? Duh! And get the cereal and munch on it. But there's no cereal in it. It's just a t-shirt. And announcers then hype WrestleMania 32 and the WWE Network. Then we get Brock Lesnar's locker room backstage before going to commercial. Back from the break, and we get more WrestleMania hype. Renee Young backstage with Roman Reigns before he can speak. We hear Bubba Ray Dudley yelling his name, which is a setup. We all know that. Bubba trying to get to lure Reigns into the back to finish what they started on SmackDown. Bubba talks a lot of trash until Devon appears back behind Bubba. As Reigns strikes first and fights them off until Triple H drops Reigns from behind. Dudley boys hold Reigns and talk trash while Triple H pounds on him. All three members are pounding on Reigns. Bubba throws Reigns face first into the wall. Dudley's leave as Triple H drapes the WWE World Heavyweight title over a production case. He says Reigns will never get the title and then slams the face into it. Triple H leaves. Reigns laying and walks off. Back to commercial. Next up, we got Kalisto versus Connor from the Ascension. Back from the ring, out comes U.S. Champion Kalisto for a non-title match. Ascension waits in the ring. Connor takes control and dominates early on as Victor looks on from the floor. Kalisto makes a comeback and springboards in after a kick to the face. Kalisto keeps control and hits a corkscrew. He goes on and Connor catches him in midair. Kalisto counters that, and then Victor takes Victor out at ringside. More back and forth, and then another counter. Kalisto gets the win with a Salida Disco. After the match, Victor runs in, but Kalisto takes him down with a springboard DDT to clear the ring. Ryback's music hits, and out he comes. Ryback gets in Kalisto's face and yells, "Feed me more," a few times, but the crowd doesn't chant. Ryback leaves the ring as Kalisto's music hits as Ryback marches to the back. Paul Heyman walks into Brock Lesnar's room as we go back to commercial. Back from the break, out comes Brock Lesnar with Paul Heyman to a big pop. Fans chant Suplex City before Heyman begins his introduction. Heyman says, "We're 6 days away from seeing a once-ever fighter, a once-ever athlete, at his peak and in his prime." Heyman says, "Lesnar will perform on a level that no one else in the locker room will achieve." Heyman then starts talking about Dean Ambrose and the weapons he's bringing. Heyman goes on and says, "He told us 2 years ago and will tell us again tonight. This is not a prediction, it's a spoiler." The music hits and out comes Dean Ambrose with a wagon. A little bit bigger than a child's wagon. Empty by the way. Ambrose brings the wagon to ringside, pulls different weapons from under the ring, and decide which weapons he wants to use for the match. He pulls Mick Foley's barbed wire bat from under the ring, puts it in. The fire extinguisher was next. Terry Funk's chainsaw was next. Lesnar looks on, but Ambrose hasn't looked at him yet. Ambrose takes part of the steel steps and throws that into the wagon. Lesnar picks up a kendo stick that was thrown into the ring. Ambrose pulls the wagon up the ramp, and that's it as Lesnar looks on. Ambrose's music played the whole time while he was gathering weapons, but it looks like he never acknowledged Lesnar. Cole announced that the Authority will be here with something to say about Triple H versus Roman Reigns later. Then we see Paige, Alicia Fox, Brie Bella, and Natalya backstage talking as we go to commercial. Paige versus Emma was up next, back from the break, and out comes Paige with Natalya, Brie, and Alicia Fox. Coleslaw confirms that one more partner is needed for the 5-on-5 Total Divas team at WrestleMania. Did not say that prediction within the last 2 weeks. Team Bad and Blonde Emma, Lana, Tamina Snuka, Summer Rae, and Naomi were out next. Emma took control early on and worked Paige over for a few minutes. Emma with a drop kick and a 2 count. Emma takes Paige to the corner and beats her down with a stomp. Emma with a turnbuckle splash and a 2 count. Paige turns it around and hits a high knee in the corner. Paige with another knee and a 2 count. More back and forth action as Paige with a fallaway slam. Tamina gets on the apron and distracts the referee. Lana sneaks in the ring and drops Paige with a kick while the referee was distracted by Team Total Divas and Tamina. Emma ends up getting the win. After the match, a brawl breaks out in the ring and on the floor with Team Bad and Blonde. Taking control, Eva Marie's music hits. Out she comes to booze. Eva runs to the ring and goes right after Lana, slamming her by her hair. Fans are booing Eva like crazy as Lana retreats. Other Total Divas aren't sure about her at first, but they all stand tall as Eva raises all their hands. As the other team looks on from the ramp. Still to come, a 6-man match with the WrestleMania ladder match participants. Back to commercial. Stardust, Miz and Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn, Dolph Ziggler and Sin Cara. I think they had this match before. And Kevin Owens has always left in the ring. Left them, his opponent, his tag team partner, to do most of the match. Back from the break, Stardust is finishing his entrance as The Miz makes his way out. Intercontinental Champion Kevin Owens was out next. Sami Zayn, Sin Cara, and Dolph Ziggler are all out next. Fans do the ole, 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 ole for Sami Zayn as he starts off with The Miz, lays a lock up. Owens ends up getting a tag and the fans pop, but he immediately tags Stardust and wants none of Sami. Sami takes control of Stardust and tags Ziggler in. We go to commercial with Ziggler standing tall with the heels on the floor. Back from the break and Owens is still stalling. He refuses to tag and he heads words with The Miz. Sin Cara keeps control of The Miz and it sounds like fans want CM Punk. I was thinking that myself. Yeah, some of the action, some of this came from Dirt Sheet. Sami Zayn tags in and works Miz over. Fan chant ole, 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 ole again. But Miz beats Sami down and tags at Stardust. More offense between both teams as Ziggler and Stardust are in now. Stardust blocks a super kick against Ziggler for a 2 count. We go to the commercial. Back for the break. Sami ends up getting a hot tag. And this whole match hasn't clicked. Sin Cara goes up top for a swanton on Stardust and he gets his knees up. Miz and Sami tag in. Sami goes to the top, but Miz catches him for a skull-crushing finale. Sami counters with a roll-up for a 2 count. Nails him. Miz nails the skull-crushing finale. Ziggler with a zigzag on Miz. Stardust with a Queen's crossbow on Ziggler. Sin Cara dumps Stardust to the floor and moonsaults onto him. Owens finally tags himself in and picks Sami up. Owens talks trash and calls him nothing. Sami blocks a pop-up power bomb with a drop kick. Owens goes to tag his partners, but they abandon him this time. They just drop. Owens yells at them as they walk out on him. Owens turns around to Sami, unloading on him, and Sami nails a tornado DDT, and then nails a hell of a kick for the win. After they go to commercial, Authority come out from after the break to the ring again. Stephanie starts ripping on the fans about how they live miserable lives. Just like Roman Reigns, she says everyone is hoping for new leaders and new champions at WrestleMania, but they aren't going anywhere, and neither is the title. Triple H speaks, but is interrupted by the music, and out comes Roman Reigns limping. Triple H drops the mic and meets Roman on the ramp. They start brawling. Triple H sends Reigns into the ring post. Reigns comes back and launches him into the barrier. Then over into the timekeeper's area. Stephanie waves to the back for somebody to come out, which is none other than Sheamus, Stardust, Rusev, The Miz, King Barrett, Alberto Del Rio, and the Dudley Boys. Well, this leads to Triple H getting the upper hand. He mounts Reigns on the floor and pounds him. Usos, New Day, Dolph Ziggler, Jack Swagger, and others are out now. Reigns breaks through the crowd. Heck, I was thinking they were going to have a lumberjack match now. Well, Reigns goes after Triple H. Then Reigns knocks a few people away. Triple H stumbles in the ring. Reigns follows, but the Dudley Boys pull Triple H to safety. One half of the roster holds Triple H back on the floor, while the other half stands with Reigns in the ring. Triple H pushes away and then tries to run back in the ring, but they stop him. Reigns runs the ring and leaps over the top rope, taking a big group of superstars down. Triple H crawls up the ramp and joins Stephanie with the title on the stage. Reigns stands tall in the ring as Triple H raises the title on the stage. Reigns' music plays as we cut to replays. Raw goes off the air with Reigns in the middle of the ring as Authority still on the stage. Nothing more than that. No results for what happened after SmackDown. And that concludes my Raw video. And by the way, if you don't know, just call me bro. See you when I'm be.